This audio overview was generated using AI for educational purposes by Carey Family Dental and does not replace a consultation with your dentist. So, welcome to this deep dive into dental veneers.
It's great to be here.
We're really cutting through the clinical jargon today. Using educational materials provided by Carey Family Dental, our mission is to look what veneers are, the material science behind them, and what you really need to consider before getting them.
It's a fascinating area to explore, mainly because the materials we're looking at highlight just how far dental technology has actually advanced.
Right.
It perfectly blends structural engineering with aesthetic design.
Okay, let's unpack this because we're not just talking about gluing something over a tooth. At a technical level, a veneer is a highly conservative restoration. We're talking about micromillimeter precision to cover the outside visible surface.
Without compromising the tooth's integrity, exactly.
So, how much control do we actually have over the materials being used here?
Quite a bit, actually. You're generally choosing between two paths. First, there's porcelain. These are fabricated off-site in a dental lab and then bonded directly to the enamel.
Got it.
Then there's composite resin, which relies on a totally different approach. The dentist acts more like a sculptor.
Oh, doing it chair-side.
Exactly. They're applying and shaping the resin directly onto the tooth right there during your visit.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
But with porcelain being crafted in a lab, does that give you less control over the final aesthetic? Or is the customization still there?
No, the customization is actually the core benefit of both options. You're controlling the size, shape, and color down to the smallest detail.
Which is what you want for a beautiful smile.
Yes,
Yeah.
but functionally, the real advantage is how conservative the prep work is. Because these layers are incredibly thin, the dentist removes only a fraction of a millimeter of the natural tooth structure.
Sometimes practically none at all, right?
Right, so the tooth keeps its underlying strength.
You're getting the aesthetic upgrade while keeping the structural foundation. But I'm assuming these materials don't behave exactly like natural enamel over a lifetime.
What's fascinating here is the disparity in how biological structures and synthetic materials age. Over a decade or two, the environment of your mouth really takes a toll.
I bet.
Both porcelain and composite can experience edge staining where the veneer actually meets the tooth.
And if you opt for composite resin...
You have to remember it's inherently more porous than glazed porcelain.
Right.
So it acts a bit like a sponge for microstains from things like coffee or wine. The material itself can actually darken as it ages.
Which creates an interesting dynamic, right? Because your natural teeth are continually aging and naturally darkening on their own anyway.
Right.
So 20 years down the line, you might be looking at a stark color mismatch between the synthetic restoration and your biological teeth.
Add to that the reality of gum recession.
Oh, sure.
As gums naturally recede with age, they expose the root surfaces of the teeth,
Which are darker.
significantly darker than both the natural enamel and the veneer.
So it's a very dynamic environment.
Very much so.
And physically, the sources mention you can expect some temporary hot and cold sensitivity early on. But how delicate are these things day to day? Are we talking fragile glass?
Well, they're strong, but they certainly aren't indestructible.
Okay.
There's a real risk of chipping or shearing them off, especially if you have an untreated bite issue or if you clench your jaw.
So using my front teeth to rip open a plastic package or bite my nails is officially out the table.
Absolutely. You really have to treat them as specialized tools for eating food and literally nothing else.
Good to know.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, you always have to weigh the scope of the intervention against what you're actually trying to achieve.
Makes sense.
If your only goal is altering the color, chemical bleaching will lift the shade without altering any physical tooth structure.
But obviously, bleaching won't close gaps or change the shape of the tooth.
Precisely.
And if someone needs a massive structural change, like dealing with a heavily damaged tooth,
That's where you'd pivot to porcelain crowns. A crown encapsulates the entire tooth, which provides a dramatic structural and aesthetic improvement.
but the trade-off is substantial.
Very. You have to remove significantly more of the natural tooth to fit a crown compared to the ultra-conservative prep of a veneer.
So what does this all mean? Ultimately, veneers give you a highly customizable, conservative approach to smile restoration. You can lock in a specific aesthetic while keeping most of your natural tooth intact.
As long as you understand the porosity and aging differences between porcelain and resin.
And you're willing to protect them from bad daily habits.
Right. It's an incredible application of dental technology. I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder.
Yeah.
Given that cosmetic restorations like veneers remain relatively static while our natural biology constantly changes, how might the aesthetic choices we make for our smiles today dictate the level of dental maintenance we are committing to decades down the road?